Like, oh, thanks, Eleanor. Like, we've got, oh my gosh, I know Francis is a vet. I think Julia, maybe, I don't know. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So, yes, Lily, I believe the recording is sent out after the class is done. And y'all got the link, so I'm happy about that. And you should have the recipes. I hope you have the recipes. If you don't, it will be in there. You know, Eleanor is with us. Eleanor, say hi to everyone.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome.
We love Eleanor so much. You have no idea. And she also just told me, because we've never met in person, that she is a tall drink of water. You know how you can't tell how tall anyone is? You guys have no idea. What I'm 5'6". I'm basically completely average. But what we're going to do today is we're going to do 3 dishes. We're going to do a balsamic chicken. We're going to do an Orzo pilaf, and then I'm going to show you my Cheaters chocolate mousse. Okay, and it's called Cheaters because we're not making it the traditional way. If you've got a question, you know, slap it over there in those comments. The comments rolling along. Oh, it's snowy in Idaho. I'm so jealous. I would love a big snowstorm. I like the idea of teaching when the weather is bad because everybody can still see you. And our friend in the villages still has gorgeous weather, all of that good stuff. Well, let's get started. Yes, we're going to get going. Alrighty. So to get things started, I'm going to get started over here in just a second. But we're going to start with our balsamic chicken because this is an easy breezy. And let me tell you, I think I say this a lot. If you are not loving on boneless, skinless chicken thighs, you do not know what's good because this stuff is, I swear, with the cost of groceries, right, with everything being so expensive, the boneless, skinless chicken thighs, you can get several pounds for usually under $10. Now, I used to be less good about taking things and freezing them and bagging them. Thank you, Francis. Francis knows. I'm going to put just a touch of olive oil in a non-stick pan. I'm using a non-stick pan so that I can use less fat than I would usually use. But these are so great. I buy the family pack and then I immediately break it into smaller servings. Okay? Always do that. Always, always. Now, if you are a chicken washer, we're not chicken washers here, okay? I hate washing chicken because it gets stuff everywhere. Oh, this is a little induction burner that I have had for several years that I just got at like a warehouse store. You know what? I'm not even gonna, oh yeah. You see how big that was? Look at this. Now this will be a small one, I bet. Yep. Okay, so let's walk through our chicken real quick. So this is our boneless, skinless thigh, and now I'm not even bothering to trim it. See this little piece right here, this little nugget? If you know what that's called, put it in the chat. I'll give you a shout out because that is like the goal. When you're in culinary school, you have got to get that piece out. All right, super, super important because it's good, because it's the good stuff. Nancy Nicholson said it's called the oyster. Nancy, gold star for Nancy. Nancy, it's a gold star Saturday for you. Who knew? All right. So that oyster is a little like the mignon, right? It's a little bitty, yummy nugget. And we always want to, if we're doing it ourselves, we always want to get that. It's, I don't know, it's deep into a little groove in where the joint is, where the bone is, and you take your knife and pop it right out. So I'm going to do a little seasoning. Now the blood pressure's been a little high, so I'm going to be easy on my salt today. But even so, pepper, gosh, we love the pepper, right? The pepper is so good. Pepper brings a lot of flavor. Excuse me. So when we're sauteing Can you use chicken breast? Absolutely. Sure thing. You love a chicken breast? Use a chicken breast. Use whatever you like. If you're like, I want to do this with pork tenderloin, you could do this with pork tenderloin. If you say, I think this would be great over tilapia or cod, you could totally do that. You would just cook the fish, set it aside, and then cook the sauce instead of sliding it in because fish is so tender. But yeah, you can totally do that. And I'll tell you what, and I don't know if it's Jean or Jeannie, but if you were to go with chicken breasts, my favorite thing, because they're so gigantic now, is to take them and cutlet them in half. No, Kathleen, I like to cut them in half and make them cutlets. Sure, Cheryl, you want to do a drumstick? Do a drumstick. Here's the thing with a drumstick. Drumstick's going to be on the bone, so that's going to take a little bit longer to cook. So what you're going to do is brown all the sides of the drummy, get it nice and brown, because that's going to give you good flavor. Then pull them out, do the sauce. You'll see we'll do the sauce in a few minutes and throw it back in. But yeah, that'd be great. And yes, Natalie, we're going to cut it horizontally. So picture this is your chicken breast, because you know they're so fat. Now one end would be skinnier, and you're going to cut it through like that. You can even, if you're feeling made of money, you can even get, cutleted chicken. They sell turkey cutlets really easily. Those are really good and simple to go with. And I want you all to notice that I did not put the chicken on the board at all, right? I'm such a weenie. I'm such a food safety girl because I want to avoid any cross-contamination, okay? Now, here's the thing. Since we're using nonstick, and again, there are times where nonstick is totally what you want, and nonstick isn't going to give you what you're looking for. If I had a beautiful strip steak here, I would not want to use a nonstick pan because part of the joy of cooking a strip steak in a pan is the Maillard reaction that occurs. Did I get real sciencey on you there? So you can get that steak in a nice hot pan, and it's made to create that layer, that crusty layer you get. The nonstick, less so. But we still want to get this brown. I'm going to bump up my heat. And let me tell you, if you are thinking induction, I can take questions on this a little bit later, but I just bought a new induction stove. Talk about learning curve. Holy bananas. And I've been cooking for years, just like you guys. Welcome, Joan and Bill. Happy to see you. But I just got it, and I am kind of loving it. It heats so quickly. I mean, it's so fast. So I have got these, and I have a bonus for you today. If you decide to make a dish like this, it freezes gorgeously. It freezes so well for you. Okay, it's really nice. Let's see if we can. Oh yeah, we're getting somewhere. Check it out. Now, our objective here is not, you want to buy new pots. I already had them. My objective here is not to cook the chicken the whole way through. My objective here is to get a little flavor going there, right? That's what I want to do. I want to make sure everybody can see. And guess what? Menu for next month. Done, decided, and I decided to go. Do we have anybody from Louisiana on the call today? Do we have anyone? I would love to see someone from Louisiana in here. Because I decided I'm going with a red beans and rice because it's seriously one of my favorites. Red beans and rice, cornbread, and I'm going to do banana pudding. Because you guys know when it comes to dessert, we do not mess around. All right. Now, I have got a little bit of garlic. The smaller you chop it, good. The smaller you chop it, the more intense it gets. Oh, and also, a favor for me if you don't mind. Oh, jambalaya. Ann Jarvis, I think you need to mute yourself. I can hear you. I can hear me. That's worse. So, all right. If there is something, because I'm doing all of the menus for the year now, if there is something that you really want to see, remember, I go a little healthier on the mains and the sides, and dessert is no holds barred. Right? Barred. So if there's anything you want to see, put it in there. Beef stroganoff gumbo. There will be a link. And that, is that Leon or Ren? I'm so sorry, my old eyes. All right. Now we're going to take, ooh, she's so pretty, but she is not good to eat. Okay. I can promise you this is not cooked through. And we're going to take it, set it to the side, and really importantly, I'm going to turn the heat way down, because if you slap garlic into a crazy hot pan, it will burn so fast on you. It's so annoying. So we just want to give the garlic a little love until it smells good. There it is. Now, I have a can of petite diced tomatoes because I really like the petite diced. Ooh, wow, am I getting that garlic now? So good. And one of the tricks to prevent it from browning is to, because brown garlic is burn garlic, is to have a liquid ready to go in. Okay, chicken marsala, plant-based cooking. Yeah, you know what, Kathy? I'm kind of jamming on the plant-based cooking. Oh, do you love this? Shoot, you guys can find me. My business is the Empty Nest Kitchen. So you can find me, and I am happy to tell you where I get anything that I got. You can find me on social media, do the thing. All righty. So we have done our chicken. We have pulled it aside. We are going to stick in a little bit of chicken broth. And remember, my favorite thing to do, no joke, is to buy the chicken base. You can buy the low sodium kind at big box stores. Whereas Eleanor has the link in the comments. I'm going to add a little dried Italian seasoning. And remember, whenever you have anything dried, you want to give it a little grind. Look at that. Look at me making a mess. You want to give it a little grind in your hands. My husband loves chai, and I mean loves chai. And I got him some, like a chai mix with the tea and everything and the spices already in it. And our son got him this gorgeous tin with all the spices, cardamom, fennel, black pepper, cinnamon. And he was doing it this morning, and he was really curious about it. And I said, oh, if you smash all of your spices, they're going to give you a lot more flavor. And he did, and he was kind of like, wah! And it was neat because he really saw, I think, what I love about cooking, he saw. And made me happy. All right, now I have added the garlic, the tomatoes, the balsamic, and because I didn't drain those tomatoes, I wanted a little bit of juice in there. I'm going to want it to thicken up a little. Now, I am going to give a little pinch of salt, but not too much. I promise that was about 1/4 of a teaspoon. And some more of that fresh black pepper. And remember, we can always add more, but we can't take it away. That's a way. See, Francis knows. Francis, you're like my superstar today. It was so neat. I gave him a mortar and pestle. I have a really nice mortar and pestle. And I heard him like doing and grinding and doing the thing. It was so funny. It was so cute. Alrighty. And then I also have a little bit, because I'm feeling fancy, I like to put a little Dijon in there. Let's see if I can. And I have this little bit of a sauce whisk, and it is coated in silicone because you don't want to put any metal in nonstick. And I have to tell you, I have always advocated for not spending a ton of money on nonstick, and I spent a ton of money on this nonstick so it would work with the induction. And I want to be sure it doesn't scratch, because if I scratch it, you really got to think about getting rid of it. Okay. All right. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to take my chicken, nestle the chicken in, put those juices in. Now, don't worry. Don't panic. And you see how that is just bubbling? Now we're going to take it down. We don't want to let it bubble too aggressively. We want to do a nice simmer, and we're going to cover it. So I'm actually going to move it to the back over here. And that's going to fuss at me. All right. And let's just figure out if we can turn the spaceship on. It's so funny going from a regular oven to induction, or a regular stove to induction. We'll see if we can get there. Okay, good. All right. The thing that I love about it is that it is instantly responsive. I'll tell you what. We're going to grab this guy for it and let it just kind of do its thing while we do the rest of the class. All right. How's everybody doing? I got to tell you, it smells so good here. The Empty Nest Kitchen, Carolyn. I teach empty nesters how to cook for 1 and 2 people again. You know, once those pesky kids have moved on. Excuse me, gracious. Sure thing. Sure thing. It was so funny. I got a couple of messages from you guys this morning. It was so sweet. I loved it. All right. Excuse me. I've been fighting something all week. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Barbara. I'm making me hungry too. Okay, here's a question. Does anybody else say Gesundheit? Because if you say that to a younger person, they think you've just cursed at them. I've got somebody on. That's so funny. I say it all the time because I grew up near Pennsylvania Dutch country. That was just where I grew up. So we always said Gesundheit. I couldn't spell it either, Kathleen. Not a hope in the world. All right, now we are going to make an Orzo pilaf. And a pilaf, you've heard of rice pilaf, right? Young people's heads snap. They do. They do. It's so funny. Eleanor, do you ever say Gesundheit?
I don't say it, but I've heard it said.
You have. Has it been like your grandma?
Probably.
Yeah. That's so funny. That's so funny. I don't know. Some things just happen and all of a sudden you're snapped back into what your age really is, right? Like I feel mentally like I'm 26. I think that's about where I am. I'm going to put just a teaspoon of butter, just a tiny bit. And I'm using a pot, just so you know, I'm using a pot that's much too big. I look like it. I seriously, in my head, I feel like I'm 26. I feel like I've got it all together, you know, and then my hip hurts. It's too funny. All right, let's get from my bag of, lighter down from my bag of tricks. We're going to take that little teaspoon of butter and we're going to take some orzo pasta. Now, if you're unfamiliar, orzo pasta. Oh no, Annabelle. All right, so orzo pasta is like, I don't know, 1/4 inch long maybe. It's just a little bitty thing. And when I worked as a personal chef, this was one of my favorite side dishes to do. Because when we cook pasta, we do the pot of boiling salted water, we drain it out, blah, blah, blah. For this, we're going to toast our pasta. We want the pasta to actually start to get a little brown, okay? And not all of it will. Some will, some won't. Let's see, where's the shape of grains of rice? Yes. All right. Sometimes hard to find. Oh no, Teach. Oh no. Okay. Quinoa, I'm going to say this, Marilyn. I don't think in this dish the quinoa is going to work. I've never done a quinoa pilaf. I'm not sure if it would work. I mean, I'll give it a try and then come back to another class and I'll let you know what happens. But what we want to do here is we want to toast the pasta. So we're bringing an extra layer of flavor into the toasted pasta. Then we're going to simmer it in some chicken broth, but we're not going to drain it. We're going, oh yeah, orzo in your pasta. I did a teaspoon. Yeah, it said 3/4 of a teaspoon, Michelle. I could not figure out how to measure 3/4 of a teaspoon. I was like, it's beautiful Saturday. I'm feeling happy. I'm going with a full teaspoon. Couscous, maybe. But if you're making couscous, remember that couscous doesn't actually cook, right? It kind of fluffs up. I would think couscous is a pasta. So I would think this could work with couscous, but I'd probably be more inclined to go with like an Israeli couscous, which is the big fat couscous, than the little couscous. And we need that little bit of fat. You could use olive oil if you want, but we need that little bit of fat in there. Oh, look, I've got some that are starting to brown because it helps with the browning. And oh, okay, this is going to sound crazy to you. When you're cooking this, and I know y'all are good cooks, so when you're cooking this, you're cooking with your nose as much as everything else. And let me tell you, I can smell it. I can smell like the toasty roastiness. It's so good. And I don't know if you guys can see that some of it's changing. Do you remember rice-a-roni? You guys remember rice-a-roni, the San Francisco treat? My dad worked late on Thursday nights. He was a housewares buyer at a department store. And he worked late every Thursday night. So Thursday nights, mom would make hot dogs for dinner. And sometimes we only had hamburger buns. So she would cut them so they fit. And I thought it was the fanciest thing. And she would make rice-a-roni. And I loved that stuff. Oh, I forgot the onion. Let's get to that. I loved that stuff. And you would cook it this way. It was just a pilaf. That's all it was. Now, who just told me the onion came first? Who was that? Jan. Jan, you are my hero today. Look at me. I'm forgetting my onion. But look how easy this is for me to fix. Thanks, Jan. And I mean that. I really mean that. Let's do some onion here. Put Jan on a staff for me, Eleanor. I need her help. Yeah, it was, I don't know. I loved that. Okay, where's my onion? I need my cute little onion. And you know what? I'm going to add just a tinkle, just a little bit of olive oil, not that much. And I'm going to cut, we're only using half. I'm going to cut it through the root, cut the top off, peel off that first layer because when you're teaching, oh, your daughter's allergic. Jan, my husband wishes I was allergic. I love onions so much. And I love, you know what else I really love are pierogies. And I will take a couple of onions and caramelize them for my pierogies. And then for like 3 days, I will eat 3 onions, right? It's a lot of onions. And just so you all know, oh, grating them is really good. Just so you all know, if you ever want to do caramelized onions and you want to make it easy, a slow cooker. A slow cooker is the way to go there. That is all you need. You take your onions, you slice them. There we go. You slice them, and I always put a knob of butter in because old habits die hard. You slice them, you put the knob of butter in, and you put it on low. And it'll take the full day, but it's fantastic. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to turn my heat down a little here because I don't really want to brown these. I want to soften them. And they are going to soften when we add the broth and we cook it all in the broth a little. But this is a perfect opportunity. Can you see the little bits of brown? Jan, you made it even better by reminding me. Because look, now I can show everybody the little bits of brown. That is 100% what we're going for here. Perfect. That's how I do it. I love, oh, you do, Robin. That's so good. I've only done it a couple of times. I like onions more than everybody else in the family. What can I say? I am who I am. All right. We've got everything cooking. We've got our onions softening. I don't know. They might need just a hint. I do a lot of Mediterranean diet cooking. And ooh, that chicken looks good. I'm going to crack hello. I do a lot of Mediterranean diet cooking. So I do lots of whole grains and fish and olive oil. I'm not using a ton of butter in anything anymore because I'm trying to use olive oil as my primary fat. Oh, shallots. I think, oh, Lisa from the Bronx. I think shallots are my favorite vegetable. That and maybe a frizzled leek. So you cook your onions until they've started to soften. You cook them until they are fragrant. You know the gist here. Can you substitute the onion and garlic? Yeah, you know, you can always leave it out. If onion is not your friend, leave it out. This dish is going to be delicious without any onion. You don't have to put garlic in the chicken. Sometimes people are really sensitive digestively. They're really sensitive to onion and garlic. So just leave it on out. No big deal. Now, you may have to make up flavor in other ways, but in our pilaf that we're doing, our Orzo pilaf, we're going to use chicken broth, which is great because that brings a lot of flavor to it. And we're going to use a little Parmesan, which brings umami to it. I would skip the onion, skip the scallion that I'm going to use, and then I might just kind of do some extra cracks of black pepper in there. Really simple stuff. Okay, get a little brown there. We're going to take our Orzo, pop that back in. Yeah, chives are, I just love chives. I love that the chives in my garden just grow and grow and grow. They come back every year. I think I had a plant for about 10 years, and then it finally gave up. All right, now I have got a bit of chicken broth here. And listen, if you're using a base, I always mix mine with hot water. But if you prefer, it's because I have a little electric kettle. If you prefer, you can instead just take the base, put it in here, and then put in the amount of water, or vice versa. But I like to measure everything out for you guys so you can see it. Now, I'm going to bring this up to a boil. Then I'm going to turn it right down to a simmer. We always bring it up to that boil first. And then I'm going to move it over and I'm going to start faking out our chocolate mousse. While I'm here, chicken stock and broth. Yeah, a lot of times people now use those interchangeably, use the words. I mean, technically, if you want to get technical about it, stock is made with bones and broth. There are different things. Bone broth, sure, Andrea. That's fantastic. Jan, A+, love that very much. I have all sorts of it in my fridge. Yeah, bone broth is great if that's your vibe. Sure. Sure. Okay, we're starting to come up to that boil. I'm going to turn this off, bring it over here, see if we can get the magic oven to work. We're going to bring it up again and then take it down. That takes about 15 minutes. So I did a cup of the Orzo to 2 1/4 cups of the broth. Alrighty? That'll come up so fast. I love it. All right, how are we doing? Okay, listen, Rich and Paula, let me tell you why. A lot of times you want to bring it up to that boil to make sure you're getting it to that heat. It kind of opens up your flavors. This is what we learned in culinary school 30 years ago. How's that? Just finding out I went to culinary school 30 years ago. I'm going to set a timer so I don't forget. Thank you very much. So we always take everything up to a boil, then bring it down to the simmer, rather than just getting it to the simmer. All right. I am going to get this prepped before we move to our chocolate mousse, because let me tell you, chocolate mousse is your new best friend. And I'll tell you why. I'm just going to do some of these scallions. And yes, you can use the whole thing. I'm going to use about that much and then save that. And I'll use it in something tomorrow. I think no football tomorrow, right? Football is in 2 weeks. So got that ready to go when that's ready. Let's pull these guys over here. All right. So I think I told you that, excuse me, maybe I didn't. I haven't seen you guys since December. For New Year's Eve, we decided to throw a party, like an open house. And it was phenomenal. We did it in the afternoon because I told everybody I'm old and I'm tired. I just want to do the afternoon. And I pulled out tons of, I did charcuterie and I did tinned fish. Tinned fish is so phenomenal and so delicious. And it was the absolute hit. But also was the giant bowl of chocolate mousse that I made. So I made a big bowl of traditional chocolate mousse. And if you don't know, traditional chocolate mousse uses eggs where you're melting the chocolate, you're taking the eggs and separating them, then you're, there we go, we're at ounces. You're taking the eggs, separating them, you're whipping the egg whites with some sugar, you're mixing the yolks with some of the chocolate. It's a whole process. And I put out this giant bowl of chocolate mousse and then a giant bowl of whipped cream on the side. And everybody went crazy. They went totally crazy for it. It was fantastic. All right. So what I'm going to show you today is what I call my cheater's chocolate mousse, because we are not going to all of the Julia Child in that. Thanks, Francis. Francis is like Pro Bowl. Lots of frozen prep leeks. Heck yeah. But with the leeks, you got to cut them. Or, excuse me, you got to cook them. Right? You could use the leeks instead of the onions. That'd be delicious. Now, did you notice I got a new one of these out? All right. So whenever you are chopping chocolate, you want to use a serrated knife. And let's see if I can turn our camera over. There we go. You want to use a serrated knife because that helps kind of shave it down. It just works way easier. And I buy this bar. I buy a bar of chocolate called, it's like Pound Plus, because I think it's like 17 some ounces, but still a really good price. And that is one of the reasons I like it. All right, so for this today, I'm going to need about 4 ounces. Let's see. We don't want to forget these guys. Excuse me. Start talking to you guys, and now my nose. Oh, you're welcome, Erica. Yeah, okay, so check it out. We need a total of 4 ounces. For the recipe I made when I did this, I like doubled it. I doubled it, and I still could have made more. We had a couple of little boys come over, and I pulled out a cotton candy machine. They literally thought they had died and gone to heaven. It was fantastic. All right, now chocolate is delicate stuff. Ooh, let me tell you. So we're not going to directly, you're not going to directly do the chocolate. Now I think I want to use, okay, we have cut this back. So we are just going to use part of this. And let me tell you that shelf-stable whipping cream, the greatest. The greatest. Okay, so I'm going to take this and heavy cream can take the heat. It can totally take the heat. I'm going to add a little extra in here. So you want to be careful from, oh, look at that, from the perspective of you don't want it to boil over. You always want to use a big enough pot for that. Now, while this is coming up to a boil, I'm going to take my mixer, and I even brought the little hand one out. And you saw that I just pulled out the, where are my things here? That just pulled the bowl out from the freezer. If you ever want to do whipped cream really well, yes, but if you have questions, Dina, I'm going to have a few minutes and we'll do it. Heavy cream and whipping cream can be a little different. Jan, we have a store. You can buy the whipped cream, the heavy cream, lots of places. And let's do this. I have 2 tablespoons of confectioner sugar. And let's add a little, oh, look at that. It already came up. Just a little touch. Now, I've got a lot of things going. I'm going to turn off this cream that's boiling, and I am going to add my chocolate right to the pot. Now, I turn the pot off, okay? Turned it off. I'm going to give it a swirl, and that's it. I'm going to let that set while we do this. Thank you, Erica. You're so good. The cold cream, the cold bowl, and the cold beaters. It'll be ready in a flash. All of that cold helps with all of that fat. And before you ask, you can't use milk. This is where I need another set of hands for today. Judy, you can make this ahead of time. Annabelle, I am. That's how I like to cook, I'll be honest. feel the drag starting. And you can do it with any metal bowl, right? I cut the recipe back, Katie. Normally, this is for 12. So you only need a cup of cream if we're doing 4. And you would take about 1/3 of a cup and heat it. So 2/3 of your cream gets whipped. Got it all going today. All right, and you know what I'm going to do? Because I don't want to make you all crazy. I'm going to take that out. Did you see the cream fly? So funny. All right, so I am going to make an executive chefy decision. Just so you know. And I'm going to throw this on my stand mixer. Now, let me also tell you, I know that I have a lot of kitchen tools. I have a lot of whisks and spatulas and all of that. I have this spatula that my sister-in-law, Laura, gave to me. And it was for a charity or something. And it's got cakes on it. So that is one I only ever use for desserts. Okay, just to be clear. Because then I know I'm not going to get onion garlic smell on it. And I know I've got this off on the side, but we're going to get it going. There we go. And see if we can do this without turning it into butter. This is going to be exciting for all of us. All right, now, while that's going, we'll look at this. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Perfect. Perfect. And what happens is the cream just sitting there on the chocolate melts it. That's all you need. All righty. We're going quick. All right. Now, we know that this, when we take it and we hold it up like that, and it gives us that little, we know it's perfect. Okay. So here's what we do. We always want to put light into heavy. All right. So I'm just breaking all the rules. And I'm going to take this chocolate mixture and put it in this bowl. Light into heavy, never heavy into light. And our chocolate is really dense. So I've got that in there. Now you could use a beautiful clean bowl. We'll be fine. And I'm going to take just a little scooperoni. Okay, just a little bit. Take it and just stir it in. Not folding. I think we've folded plenty of times on here. And what this does is it lightens your mixture. Okay? It lightens your mixture. And that basically means it puts a little bit of air into it so that it's ready to incorporate more air. Okay? So I'm going to do this in, oh, I don't know, maybe 2 additions. Isn't that a great bowl? I know. And what I'm going to do is when I fold, I go through the middle and I turn the bowl as I go. You can make this a day ahead. When I had my open house, and I recommend an open house as a great party. Middle of the afternoon, people aren't expecting a lot of food, which is good for you. They come, they stay for a little bit, they leave. I think it was the most fun. I immediately declared that we would be throwing an open house next year too. So another addition. And you'll see there are still streaks in everything. See that? We don't have to worry about those streaks until the last time that we add our cream in. Because every time you fold, you're deflating it a little bit. And we're going for lots of air and fluffiness. Excuse me. So now that I have that last little bit, now we'll take it. Now imagine I've decided that I'm going to be a crafty girl, right? And I'm going to have a craft night for my friends. Everybody can bring over their unfinished projects. I have tons of supplies if they want to do something new. And I'm going to do just dessert, right? So they can come over, coffee and dessert. All right, let's turn this guy off. Perfect. Okay. And you can have this chocolate mousse. You can buy cookies from the store. Look at that. So pretty. And I always want to take this and put it in a bowl that looks maybe just a skosh too small because it'll look bountiful. That is my thing. Now, imagine putting this out. You have your 3 best friends over. You guys are having a fun evening, and you whip out a bowl of chocolate mousse. Maybe you have some fresh raspberries. Maybe you have another bowl of sweetened whipped cream to go with it, and you serve it like this. Does it deflate? No, it's cool. What will the other 2 girls eat? It's cool. The chocolate, I stirred the chocolate mixture, the chocolate and cream mixture. It cooled off. It wasn't a ton of cream. It melted that chocolate. And then I waited a couple of minutes there, and voila, it was good to go. This is not going to deflate. This isn't going to do anything for us. It is ready to go. I taught a class last Valentine's Day for a friend of mine. She had a group of fancy friends over to her house, and I was supposed to bring these these little containers, and I forgot them. So I saw that she had a big bowl on the side. So I grabbed the big bowl, took fruit out of it, and threw the mousse in. It worked. Oh, speaking of working, check this out. I have got my Orzo Pilaf right here. And that, oh, it smells so chickeny. It smells so good. I'm going to take just a little bit of parm. That's 2 tablespoons of parm, right? I'm just doing it for the flavor. That's all it is. And cheese, any cheese is going to bind it a little bit. It's going to make it slightly less liquidy. And then because I love a scallion, I'm going to add that in. Gorgeous. And that's perfect. I do want to taste it for salt. Always good to taste things for salt before you serve them. No, it's perfect. Is it? No, it is. No, it is. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to take a little bit of that. Just pop it on the side. Little on the side. And then I'm going to take our chicken. Oh, our chicken seems good. Now, I feel like I want my sauce ever just a tiny bit thicker on this. So the way we do that, I don't know if you guys can see this burner. It's hilarious. I have food everywhere. The way we can do this is we're going to take a little piece of chicken. Do you see that? Do you see that? That chicken just fell apart. That chicken is so fantastic. Look at it, just fell right apart. the best. All right. And then let's do another spoon. I'm glad it's just my family today. I'm going to take a little bit of this and taste it. Oh, yum. So good. Okay. I'm going to actually take some of this and just right there. Boom. And there you go. Look at that. 55 minutes. We got it done. All right. So to do the chocolate mousse, the only adjustment that you need to make, and thank you so much for asking, is instead of 3 cups of cream, you want to have 1 cup of cream. Okay. You want to use, hang on, I'll tell you, 1 cup of cream, and you're going to heat 1/3 of it, and you're going to whip 2/3 of it to make 4. And this is for 4 or 1 Lisa. So we're thickening the sauce for the chicken, Erica, by simply heating it to reduce it. All right. I can tell this chicken is going to fall apart on me. I love it. This is going to be a good lunch today. To thicken a sauce, a lot of times when it's something like this, all we need to do is remove some of the water from it. And I know you're like, water? What was the water? The water was the juice. So I just put it on high, and I'm going to watch it, and it'll only take a minute or 2. And when it's the thickness that I want, I can turn it off. I did take the chicken out so that it doesn't overcook in it. Oh, Annabelle, thank you. I love an emoji. I really do. Tomorrow's Sunday. Come on, Nancy. You're so sweet. Nancy, if you make this, you take a picture and you send it to me. I am telling you, that is so good. You guys are the best. Thank you so much. I hope that you will make this. And please, experiment. Do it so you like it. If you're dealing with an allergy, don't worry about it. Oh, thank you, Sandra. I am so excited. I don't know if you all know this, but there were 600 of you registered for tonight's class. 600, 500 for today's class? It was a lot of people. So I'm grateful. AARP Maryland, the best. Sorry, you may like your local office, but I love mine. We are going to be back on March 1st and the first Saturday of every month.